This week on Show Me Your News, Part 1 of the Famitsu Smash is Special column, the chances of a successor to Subspace Emissary, and Bomb Rush Blush rounds out the second week of Smash blog updates. Masahiro Sakurai, I implore you to... Show me your news! Greetings, Smash fans, and welcome back to Show Me Your News Ultimate, your weekly weekend podcasting source recapping the biggest news in anticipation of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. My name is Peter Spezia, but you may remember me as Yoko. Joining me this week, it's Miles Allen, but you may know him as Super.
I go by many names.
But you're Super today. And
That's right.
It is Kelly Brown, but you may know him as the Buzzsaw. Welcome back.
So much. It's so good to be back on the show.
Absolutely. It's really good to have you. We tried to play up the whole everyone is here angle last time, but for as long as you were a co-host on Show Me Your News, it is very good to have you here as a guest on this one. How is life?
It is interesting. Life is good. I've moved to a new house and we have a official business now. It's called Obvious Piranha.
It's a good name.
That's what we use to keep all of her art endeavors where she goes to conventions and sell art and stuff. Mm-hmm. And under that same business, we're starting game development, and we have a title we're working on. Don't have any details we can share yet, but we're working on something.
Yeah, that's great. Also hope Sugar Poultry as well. Your kids and dog Link. I mean, life must be really good. Very busy though, I'm sure.
Very busy, but at the same time, just relatively uneventful. Which is good. Nothing bad has happened.
That's true.
But yeah, my oldest turns Kadri turns 10 this year, and my younger one Kira, she'll turn 3 this year.
Wow, the Sugar Saw is almost 10. That makes us feel real old. Well, good for them, and congrats to you guys. For raising two strong, healthy girls, and that's fantastic.
Mm-hmm, thanks.
Well, let's get to talking about Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Let's start with a couple news tidbits before we get into the Smash blog updates. First off, we got to call out some trolls online who are basically acting in an unacceptable fashion. I know it's a meme and it's all nice to play up the WALUIGI card. I'm someone who's kind of on the counterpoint of that. I'm glad to see him F-smash into oblivion as an assist trophy, but a lot of people they're wanting their WALUIGI, but you don't deserve WALUIGI or Super Smash Bros. At all if you start targeting and harassing Masahiro Sakurai on social media because of it.
Definitely that. Although they are at least acting like WALUIGI.
I guess, but
all it does is reinforce Sakurai's position that the love for WALUIGI isn't genuine and that it's all a game.
Precisely. Yeah. So just gotta say, especially like if you are someone who used to listen to Show Me Your News back in the day, and you are someone who's doing that, like that is unacceptable. You know better. Sakurai works too damn hard on this game for you to give him any of that. So
he has almost died multiple times playing on these games.
Yeah, let's be honest here, and hopefully this is going to be a grand hurrah for him, and you'll send him off with this very, very complete package, it seems. So Sakurai has been talking to Famitsu magazine, and he seems to be doing a multi-part column called Smash is Special. Now, Source Gaming is behind the main translation that's being passed around the internet. They seem to do very good Super Smash Bros. Work. So shout out to Source Gaming. Go read the full translated piece there. But I wanted to pull out certain highlights here because some of the things that Sakurai mentioned in this first part, we saw during E3 or during the Nintendo Direct with the Smash Bros. Segment. But some certain choice quotes that I'll pull out and read here. First, talking about what this game was built off of. Quote, "First, I was faced with a decision. Create a completely new game system or build off of pre-existing ones. I went with the latter. Had I not, we might have ended up with only a third of the fighters we have now. Some people might still end up preferring an earlier title, but I decided to put that thought aside for later and focus on the more important tasks at hand. Kind of flows into the whole debate that some people still like to have of, is this a port? Is this an enhanced port? Is this a new game? I think it was pretty clear that this was not a built from the ground up game that I think some people at Nintendo were trying to play off during E3. Obviously,
some of them did come out and say that too. Like someone went out and said like, "Oh no, this is an entirely brand new game." But then like some of them backtracked. It's like, well, when you change systems, it's completely new. Everyone reacts differently in this new system. But this was very much definitely more of an enhancement, but like a pretty extensive one.
Mm-hmm.
I was one of the people that expected a Smash 4 Deluxe and totally thought it would be. And it's obvious it's not that, but it was still obvious from the outset when we saw it at E3 that we were like, this is essentially Smash 4 with substantial upgrades.
Yeah. It
drastically different.
Yeah, consider the difference of Project M to Brawl.
Right.
It's the same system entirely. You're still building it off the entire system, but those two play very differently. So in this case, it's much like that for Smash 4 versus Ultimate.
Yeah, you kind of have to have that kind of Bandai Namco framework, especially for all the different mechanics, for all the characters, especially if you wanted to bring them all back. And it was interesting to see reports where Sakurai apparently told his team, like, the first goal he had was to bring everyone back, and then the team was, like, stunned into silence. Like, can we do this? It's kind of amazing.
A great goal, though.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing that they have, yeah.
And just looking at this, like, starting from scratch is also a super risky proposition because with the coding and the art and the development, but there's also the risk of, will people even enjoy it? Like, you changed too much. I don't like this. You went a different direction or something.
Like how I felt with Smash 4.
There you go.
Like transition from Melee to Brawl was bad enough for most people.
That was pretty staggering. Well, speaking of a faster game, Sakurai increased the game speed, of course. He said for this, quote, "That said, I still increased the overall speed of the game, but only by an amount that wouldn't be alienating to people unfamiliar with Smash. After all, we haven't seen a huge influx of brand new gamers like we did when the Wii was released, and the on-screen movement is much easier to follow on the Switch than it is on the Nintendo 3DS. For example, the knockback speed has been increased. Even when launched a short distance, a character will fly off very quickly, then suddenly slow down. Reducing the time while incapacitated has helped improve the flow of gameplay. I wanted to include this change in previous entries, but I gave up because it was so easy to lose track of your position, especially on the 3DS. I've also increased fighters' initial jump speed, reduced aerial landing lag, and made a slew of other changes that will accelerate gameplay without making the game itself too hardcore." So certainly some of these we pointed out last time with Samurai Panda and the hands-on experience with the game, noticing, as he called, that almost the balloon effect where you punch the balloon and it goes out and then slows down. It is interesting to see It's good to see the development kind of insight, how he wanted to implement this into 3DS. He wanted to add the box for the quality of life with seeing your position on screen, but couldn't make that work. So it really is seeming like it's the combination, the coalescence of all these different ideas that Sakurai has had for Smash.
Yeah. I'm also really happy that we're not going to have a split version anymore.
Oh, thank goodness,
have the 3DS and the Wii U. It'll be the one single full experience, but you can either do it on the go or you can do it at home on a console on your TV. Yeah. And that's great. But I'm not going to lie, be unlocking some stuff probably on the toilet or other places, but that's work that's got to be done. So,
honey, you've been on there for an hour. Are you okay? Yes, I got Young Link.
Yeah. My job is done. My work is done.
I don't like the idea that you just mentioned that you're going to find a small child in the bathroom, but all right.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
I just hope it can still be done within a day, because I don't want to be weeks later like, I still don't have all the stages or still don't have all the characters. Like,
well, hopefully with Smash 4, it was like every 10 matches. So
right. And hopefully it's something like that.
It's still quite a lot of matches if you think about it when there's 64 you start with.
Well, I wish I could ask questions of Nintendo or Sakurai, because for one thing, as we've seen, he's been giving us a lot of what we wanted, cool, but I want to know, where is he getting that from? Like, what is his source? Does he watch Twitch and watch tournaments, or does he sneak onto Smash boards like some people claim to have proved many years ago, or like where does his feedback come from to where he can say confidently, oh, all of the West wanted Ridley? Like that, he's right, but where did he get that? What is his source?
It would be very interesting to find out.
He goes to Mango streams.
He just watches.
What is the kid thinking?
Right.
No, I mean, we had Panda say last time that a lot of esports team members, like, they were invited out as VIPs, and that Nintendo of America at least they were taking feedback and said, we'll pass it along to the dev team. So like that's helpful, certainly. But yeah,
watched a video from I think the channel was Leaderboard, and he mentioned that the people from Nintendo had like notepads and were just like furiously recording everything they were saying, enough detail to pass that on to the devs. And I was like, man, if that is true, that is amazing. Like, we've never had this kind of access to the developers.
Yeah, it is really good to see.
It does bring back the idea of Sakurai in his notebook and writing down furiously after seeing the Bayonetta combo.
Right.
Like that.
I got some bugs to patch out.
Everything looks a lot
God
better
bless
than
you,
how they were
MKLeo.
doing it back in the day when we saw on the original dojo with when they updated and showed the case that all the changes were just kind of based on what Sakurai was feeling at the time. Especially when we saw the Kyoto versus Japan Wi-Fi battle.
Oh man, that's a deep cut. Yeah. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Good times. Good times. Well, on the character front, I guess, when we're talking about unlocking characters, he mentioned, again, kind of more detail about the idea that the starters would be the original Super Smash Bros. For the Nintendo 64 roster. It says, quote, I've decided to limit the number of fighters initially available to the original Nintendo 64 roster. This will keep the process of unlocking new challengers fun and exciting, but I suppose it's a bit of a hassle in comparison with other fighting games that allow all players to fight under the same conditions from the get-go. Personally speaking, I find that when I pick up a fighting game, I often put it down before I get around to playing all the different characters. The more characters there are, the more that go untouched, and the less strategic things become, so it's hard to say that simply adding more characters is a flawless idea. However, Smash is a character-based fighting game, and there are plenty of players out there eagerly awaiting the opportunity to play as their favorite character. I wrestled with this problem quite a bit while deciding whether to include everyone. It's really interesting to kind of see him struggle with this a little bit, because everyone wants their characters, but he does have a good point. Like, how often or how soon do you get to play everyone in a Smash game?
It should be somewhat noted that Sakurai is very openly stating that Smash is now a fighting game. It is not a party game. It is not a platform fighter or whatever the people want to call it. He is specifically calling Smash as a fighting game.
At least according to this translation. Let's note that.
Right. Well, I mean, I don't think you can mistranslate party game.
Yeah, right.
To fighting game.
Party.
So,
I always have to remind myself that, like, competitive community, and me especially, I'm such a small part of the audience that, like, believe it or not, won't even unlock everything. They'll play the game for a couple months, and still not unlock everything, because their experience is very different, and their approach to the game is very different. Remember when I unlocked characters in Melee? Like, it was awesome. Like, it blew my mind. I was so young, and it was so neat to see it happen. But then I went competitive, and I was like, I hate unlocking things. It's so stupid. But I put up a poll on Smash boards about this, and it turns out, like, they love unlocking stuff.
yeah.
Like, it's very, very popular.
Wow.
Like, people love the feeling of discovering new things, and they don't like to have all the knowledge and see the whole roster. They like the surprise.
Yeah, that challenger approaching feeling is very good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember how absolutely giddy I was when I saw the event match I think it was 29 Ganondorf approaches or something.
Yes, yeah.
And I was like, Ganondorf? He's not in this game. There's no way he's in this game. It must be like a black Captain Falcon or something like that.
Yeah,
and
recolored.
And then you enter it, and then there's, Ganondorf staring you down. You're like, I have made a mistake.
Yeah.
and then it turns out I wasn't all that far off when I called him the Black Captain Falcon. But
right.
But regardless of that, I was just absolutely thrown away that I had to fight Ganondorf, and then I had to fight Ganondorf again, oddly enough.
This game will make a big change because, in Smash 4, you start, I don't know the numbers, but you started off with like all but like 10. And then you had to unlock just a few and then you were done. It wasn't that bad at all.
Right.
And he's doing the opposite. He's like, you get about 10 and you get to unlock all the rest.
Yeah.
I'm like,
It should keep things interesting. And plus, back in the Melee days, I mean, there was a magic to discovering Mewtwo or Mr. Game & Watch.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
The internet wasn't so widespread that this was being passed around like common knowledge. Now we're going to get to a point where if there is ever a Smash test, like a demo that comes out for this game, I mean, there will be no secrets. The people will data mine. They will find every single nook and cranny. So I don't think we'll get that kind of magic again. But it is good to see that still people like to unlock things.
I don't think we will, but I think other people will.
Yeah.
I have the kids out there that, sure.
Yeah, definitely. I was going to say, because, a lot of people don't watch E3. A lot of people are going to say, oh, hey, there's a new Smash. Like, they didn't even know it was coming. And then they're going to pick it up, and they have no idea what the roster is. Because, people approach this casually. Have way more magic than we are. We who are like, we must know every single person who's in it the moment they're announced.
Yeah, and sometimes weeks before they're announced.
Yeah, absolutely.
We might have a problem.
Yeah.
We're talking about this on an internet-based audio format show, so I'm just saying.
To be produced and consumed by other people who have problems.
Yay! It's all one big happy family.
At least we acknowledge it, right?
Yes, that's step one. That's step one.
There was the big Melee versus Brawl clash, because the difference of opinion and kind of different stances on it. And this kid walked up to me. I mean, he was probably 14, I'd say. And he's like, I grew up on Brawl. I've never played Melee. He's like, can you explain to me why people are fighting over it? Sir, because I was like, you only know Brawl your entire existence. You've never experienced anything else. And that's what it's going to be like for a lot of people playing Ultimate. Well, I've never played any of the other ones. Why? Why do you have this opinion about it?
I think I've seen many memes on that, actually. Usually it just has an old man say, well, son, I'm going to tell you an amazing story.
And then he tripped.
And he pulls out a copy of Melee.
And then the final thing I wanted to point out from this this Smash is Special Part 1 feature on Famitsu, talking about the stages and items being remade from scratch. Sakurai says, quote from the translation, "The amount of stages, music, and items included is greater than ever before, but I suppose that goes without saying. All the stages and items have been remade from scratch and vastly improved." You're seeing that in certain stages, like Princess Peach's castle looks, totally new.
The item surprises me though, because a lot of the items look lifted straight from 4. I'm like, you remade that? Why? The I don't know the name of it, but the big black sword that casts tornadoes or whatever.
Oh yeah, the Kid Icarus one. Yep.
That looks no different. I mean, maybe it is, but I just can't tell from a glance. But I'm like, why would you redo that?
It's got slightly more polygons.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm pretty sure most things the items have been remade from scratch in the sense of, they ported over the old models, but now they've remade them to be, more fitting with the aesthetic of the game, whereas all of the actual mechanics of the items are no different.
Right.
Right.
And one thing I am looking forward to with this description is, the stages have been remade from scratch and vastly improved. In the back of my head, I'm going, does that mean Fountain of Dreams?
You took it right from me, man. I was just going to say, we were talking about it last time.
Is that why we haven't seen it yet? It hasn't been, the reflections and all that hasn't been, finished?
I just talked to a friend today who was like, is Fountain of Dreams back in? I'm like, I will let you know. I will let you know. I promise.
The moment it happens, I think everyone will rejoice. Oh, I'm glad you beat me to it, but I was just going to say, if all these stages are from scratch, let's go.
I just need Fountain back, really. I don't play it in any of the games that it's actually in, but just the fact that it's
I want the full nostalgia. I want the full nostalgia of playing that level. The game has to lag when there's 4 people playing.
At least if it doesn't lag when there's 4 people, it better lag when there's 8.
Yeah, that's
right. And when they're all ice climbers.
Oh no!
Oh my gosh, 8 players on that stage.
8-player ice climbers. Let's go.
That will be amazing.
With all clocks.
Yeah, all clocks.
Oh, clocks.
Has the clock been remade?
I don't know.
Is it now?
I haven't seen it.
We don't know yet. We have not seen yet.
It's a digital clock now.
Boop.
Yeah.
How times change. Let's get to the Smash blog updates. I do have to note, forgot to do so at the top of the show, Tony TH was going to be here. Tony had to skip out in the second half of last week's episode, had an emergency come up. But everything's okay there. But yeah, he had issues with Discord and then tried to reboot, and computer does not boot anymore.
Nope.
So
Bad
Tony, I'm sorry, we miss you. Hopefully, if he gets something figured out, he can pop in here and surprise us. But just Tony's okay. Like, don't worry about Tony. Everything's good.
He's not dead.
Might have to buy a new computer, but that's about it. Let's start on Monday, June 18th with today's fighter. Number 1, Mario. Mario is an all-around fighter who uses his wide variety of techniques to respond to any situation. In Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, he shows up in his wedding tux and his builder outfit, and Cappy even makes an appearance. So, Mario is here. I almost hoped that Cappy would have had a bigger role in this one.
Showing up
I'm actually surprised about that. I figured his whole moveset would be reworked and everything, and it'd just be like Mario Odyssey all over the place. But
like side B or down B, it's like, is Flood necessary?
The side B to change.
The bigger question is, why is Flood still here?
Right.
It's a sign from Sunshine. That's just.
It's just funny to me. Like the least popular game is like still represented strong in Smash Brothers, but I guess they're just trying to keep his entire history present, and so they want to have bits from every game.
Yeah, it might have been a little too much for Mario to take over every single opponent with Cappy. Just saying, but that would have been amazing. Now we see the taunt in the character video that Cappy shows up a little bit there. Yeah, more people. Some people have mentioned it, but of course we're going to see a New Donk City stage based on the Pauline and the band jamming there in his tux. Of course, you have Wrecking Crew and the Builder's outfit. I don't think there'll be too much different. Are they going to play
a different song at Saturday at 8 p.m.?
I wonder.
Is that our joke every week now?
Yeah, it should be.
Now, I did notice that, like, you were mentioning a New Donk City stage, but I honestly think this is going to be more of a transforming stage.
Possible.
That you literally go on, like, the Odyssey and get taken to different places. Because when you watch the trailer, Mario immediately appears in the Peach's Castle's in the background, and I don't recognize that stage from anywhere else. I don't think the Smash 4 stage. So I do believe that it's going to take us through all of the main stages of Odyssey.
It looks like a Mario 3D World stage, maybe?
Maybe, it does have those little blocks that weren't there in Odyssey.
Yeah, I'm thinking of those platforms he's standing on, the ones that like generally move on. That's a good point. Yeah, this first one where Cappy's doing the taunt here. That's interesting for sure.
I also like the new animation for Mario Side B.
Yeah.
He literally brings the cape out from like Batman style.
From some other place on his outfit.
Yeah, but like when he swings his cape, he literally like Batman's it. He does that Batman cape like and cowl thing.
Well, it doesn't pop out like an item or something.
Right. Yeah, so it's not overall an interesting. Aside from that very first stage, because we haven't really seen that one before, I don't think, unless it's like a 3D land, 3D world sort of thing.
But we do get to see his wedding tux, and we do get to see his builder outfit.
Yeah,
I love his builder outfit. Oh, it's so great.
It's so good to see those alternate costumes, and we talked about it last time. It's really good to kind of reinforce, like, yes, do that more.
Yeah, and it's really kind of sad because Super Mario Maker was a good game trapped on a bad console. And even though Mario Maker 3DS is absolute garbage, I don't know how it's so different and it's garbage.
A sequel has to be coming to Switch, though. Like, it's gonna happen.
It has to be.
It's too much sense. I'd be surprised if they didn't.
I would be interesting to see, when different screenshots pop up. Let's definitely keep in mind that, that's a good point. It may be more than just a New Donk City. Like, if we see different things like that, or if we go to the moon of all places, that would be really interesting. And then the gravity changes unless you turn off the hazards or something. I don't know.
The hazards.
And the gravity changes, and Uncle Scrooge is there?
Yes, somehow. We also got today's stage on the 18th, Battlefield. This stage is sporting a redesigned look, with vast natural vistas forming a stunning backdrop behind floating platforms. This stage truly deserves its name. Well, it's good to see Battlefield.
Yeah, like
stage.
I don't really see why he says it deserves its name. I don't see any part of it that I'm like, this is deserving to be a Battlefield. I don't agree with you.
It's a history rooted in Smash.
It has the 3 platforms like it should.
But like,
yes, it's the tripods.
You've got temples in the background and civilizations floating through the sky. I don't want this to be a Battlefield. I'd like to
well, look at the background of Battlefield. It's been trashed. I mean, things are broken and wars have been waged here. It's a battlefield.
The waterfall should be of blood, not of water.
I gotta say something about this though. So he mentioned how every stage has an Omega, and now they all have a battlefield form.
Right.
Which is awesome because again, we asked for that. We're like, look, it may come as a surprise to you, Nintendo, but we don't like just Final Destination. We actually like platforms.
The meme with all foxes is just that.
Yeah.
It's just a meme.
Maybe they learned after Waluigi.
But what disappointed me was, if you listen carefully, he says every stage has a battlefield form, and they're all exactly the same. Like the platforms are the same distance and position and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, that's a missed opportunity. Like, how awesome would it have been to have 500 variants of Battlefield, slightly spread out, platforms, maybe more tighter, or different blast zones and that kind of stuff. I don't want to have just the same Battlefield with different looks, but what can you do?
It is a really good point, and I think it's going to come into an interesting play when we do talk about turning the hazards off. That's going to have some possibly more stage variants, though. Samurai Panda said last time with something like Wily's Castle. They just turned that into Final Destination, essentially. It's that's a shame.
Well, luckily he did mention it, so hopefully,
maybe something will change. Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, I do have to say there is something kind of funny about the fact that all of the dimensions are the same between all of them. And then I think back to the recent release of the Project M Legacy 2.0, and almost every stage had, if you held this button, you would get Battlefield with 1-to-1. The stage would have just the Battlefield layout, but the aesthetic of Animal Crossing or something like that, and almost every stage had something like that.
Right.
So the fact that that seems to be kind of a normal thing among development is that you want to keep this 1-to-1.
I don't think we're going to see them used very much because, for example, you don't see Omegas used in tournaments, even when someone's picking a Final Destination.
Oh, certainly
or picking Final Destination itself. I mean,
they got banned a while back.
But I'm just saying, I want, for example, an FD that has walls that go all the way down, so you have some wall jumping characters, whereas ones where it's hollow underneath, so you can't do that. Actually make some variants, but oh well.
That would certainly be nice. Speaking of Final Destination, it wasn't an update this week, but Final Destination had a very similar look to this Battlefield at E3, and they made mention that it was definitely an E3 kind of build. Now, we've seen a couple screenshots in different updates where it definitely seems like a darker, more ominous vibe, and some people are starting to think well, maybe that might be Final Destination. So keep an eye on when that FD, not FOD, comes to the updates. Just keep that in mind. Also on Monday the 18th was today's item, Black Hole. Pulls fighters and items into its powerful gravity field. If someone throws a black hole in your direction, you'd better keep your distance. It makes you think of the Melee black hole.
Yeah.
Yoshi looks so sad to be thrown into it.
He's just no.
The black hole shows up in many, many matches, and it's just weird when it shows up, and everyone's just cluttering around the center and trying to up B out of it and stuff. And
right.
So this is one of the screenshot examples. It's Fox here on Black Hole. Take a look at that one. Some people are thinking this may be a Final Destination because I don't think anyone's really pinning where else that could possibly be. It's got this kind of dark, ominous vibe. It could definitely be a Final Destination.
Yeah,
that background.
That background, I don't know what it's from. Nothing there shouts any stage I've seen before, and there does not seem to be anything else going on in it. I would say that it kind of gives me a Final Fantasy VII vibe. If you're fighting on top of the Highwind, like the new Highwind from the remastered, I don't know. But it looks like the second image is from Big Blue. But yeah, no, where Fox is, I don't know. It doesn't help that the second image is much darker.
Yeah, absolutely. So it'll be an item, and it'll wreak some havoc for sure.
That's the way items are.
On Tuesday, June 19th, today's music, Bomb Rush Blush. This is from Splatoon, arranged by Tomoya Otani. You can now listen to Bomb Rush Blush on the official Super Smash Bros. Ultimate website. Let's play a snippet here.
So it's very interesting that the composer for Sonic is sitting in on this Splatoon song for a Smash game.
Yeah, for sure.
Make music for games that people actually like.
Hey now.
No, he's done a lot for sure. Sonic Forces, Runners, Lost World, Colors, Generations. He did some arrangement on that one. Unleashed.
Yep.
Yeah,
and
Sonic
he was actually worked on Brawl.
Yeah, he sure did. So
He was the supervisor.
So it's good to see him back in this role. Took some research because I'm not well versed in Splatoon, but for those that have not done so, this is Callie's theme song, and she's one of the two Squid Sisters, especially when we saw Squid Sisters as an assist trophy last week. So she is the pink one there, if you're unfamiliar with the Splatoon lore. It's big for Splatoon fans. I'm sure they're chomping at the bones. Like, they get the Inkling character, and they're also wondering, what music will be represented from the series. We're already kind of hearing, I'm blanking on what the final boss song was in the first Splatoon game, but we kind of hear it when the assist trophy comes out.
Calamari Incantation.
That's the one. Good call. Nicely done.
I never played it. Yeah,
I know the song, but I didn't know the name. That's impressive.
Yeah. We were talking about Steve the Gunner before the show. That's the only reason I know that.
Yeah, there you go. Flintstones. Meet the Inklings? Gosh. I don't know.
Meet the Inklings.
No, that's good. So I'm sure everyone is eagerly anticipating this. This seems to be a good arrangement. I'm sure at least we'll be on Moray Towers if there are going to be more Splatoon stages, but at the very least that one.
To be honest, this was my favorite update.
I agree. I love the music updates.
The music so far that they have shown has been pretty much S tier.
Oh, for sure.
This has been no different. Like, before, when they were showing things up in Brawl, I was like, yeah, okay, this is a song that could definitely be in the background of this game. But these are just good songs. Like, I can actually see myself sitting in my car listening to these. Whereas with Brawl, or especially Smash 4, I was not particularly, swayed by the red and blue discs that I got.
Discs are terrible, but if you rip up the songs from the game, they have tons.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I listen to the Brawl soundtrack all the time because there's so many songs in there.
It's a fantastic soundtrack. I mean, Wii U and 3DS was good, but yeah, Brawl was S tier. But I think it's important that we mention, the music side of the site, because we didn't really get to touch on it last week. We also have Brinstar Depths, kind of a more rock guitar heavy sort of rendition. The Vega stage from good old Yoko Shimomura there. So that's a good rendition of that stage. Of all the stages, like, I would have expected some different ones, like maybe Blanca. But Vega's good to see.
You can say it. You can say it.
I know. I want to.
You can
it goes with Smash. God damn it! It goes with Smash. And the main theme, of course, from Breath of the Wild that's just a great song to begin with, and really improved on. The main theme for Smash Bros. Ultimate. It's the one that runs.
2018 version.
Yeah, it runs through the character role. That video that we keep watching, I'm sure, just to relive that excitement of everyone is here. But yeah, it says E3 2018 version. I do wonder if it'll get souped up some more, as it will be tradition, remixed to hell and back for all sorts of things for this game. A good melody overall. I sometimes catch myself humming it.
Is it weird that I'm expecting them to update this page sometime with background images like they do for the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate main theme.
Yeah, for like which stage they go on, yeah.
Yeah, because like they haven't showcased the stages yet. So once that stage gets updated to the website, we see these music slots get filled out with the background.
Yeah, even though we know about them, I mean, for Breath of the Wild, it's going to be the Great Tower Plateau from that game. We know that exists, but it's not on the website yet.
So that was one of the questions I had. Definitely going forward, I hope it gets answered.
And I hope all of them stay on there. I don't want things to be cycled out. They do. You'll mention when it was last updated, so that's good to see. But I do want those more. Yeah, bring on more music updates. Love those for sure. Also on June 19th was a big one. It was today's item, assist trophy, Bomberman.
That's right. It's him.
It is him.
That's my favorite part of the entire...
They didn't write this blog post correctly, so I'm going to write it correctly for them. Okay, you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Bomberman has not been a playable character, and he still is not a playable character. He's a brand new assist trophy, which means he's here to help you during battle.
Up until now. It was written, Bomberman is a brand new assist trophy, which means he's here to help you during battle. The bombs he leaves on the stage detonate in his iconic cross-shaped pattern. Bomberman isn't Ubisoft. Stop using that word iconic.
So, kind of an interesting thing is they show Bomberman running around Temple for the most part and greens. And I'm just kind of staring at him. It's like, those bombs will not explode in any useful way on Temple.
No.
Temple is way too out of position. They're pretty good in the video where you see him, though, where he's on a DK jungle or whatever. And there's not much space there.
The sad thing is, because of assist trophies and all that are generally speaking lower poly than the rest of the fighters and stuff like that. That first image just looks like a bad Photoshop for Brawl, and the bombs look more in place than Bomberman does.
Got to be careful too, because if you remember when they revealed the cover for Brawl, a lot of us thought it was fake. We're like, oh, this is a 4chan leak or whatever. It's just some art, and it doesn't even look that good. And then it came out that it was the actual cover, and we're like, oops.
Yeah.
Sorry, Nintendo.
Yeah, especially on the second one. It looks like he's just placed there oddly. But maybe it's the different lighting with all the flames and all. I mean, no, it's good to have him in the game. That Hudson isn't totally forgotten. But
it is so funny, though, because that is probably my favorite part of the entire Smash Direct, was when they're showcasing the assist trophies, and that's just Bomberman, and then he just goes, "That's right, it's him."
It's him.
That was a weird way to introduce him, but whatever.
Drops in and goes, "That's right, it's him."
That's another meme we have to add to the pile.
There you go. Absolutely.
That's right.
That's right. My next Show Me Your News mug better have "That's right, it's him" on it.
For the last 2 days of the week, I mean, it was Wednesday and Thursday. Didn't really get a Friday update. It was a kind of strange week.
We did get 3 updates on Monday.
That's true. I suppose. But, spread them out a little bit more. I still have to nail down the timing. I've seen some go up at 4 a.m. Eastern time for the previous day.
Oh,
so
do you want to go back to staying up till midnight, 1 a.m. for the update to post?
I mean, I never stayed up. Let's put it that way. Yeah. I always went to sleep. And then,
oh my goodness, I was up every night. What's the update? What's the update? What's the update?
Well, I'm sure Mountain Time helped that, right? It was always 2 a.m. Eastern.
Yeah,
so
sure.
Yeah, right. So
I'm not gonna lie. There were the ones where they were not on the ball, so you're waiting until 2 a.m., 5 a.m. to get the update. And you're like, ah.
And the game is delayed, but here's Sonic.
That's actually what I wanted to lead into, is the fact that the first update I didn't stay up to see was October 10th.
Yep.
I was so I got to school and I sat down on one of the library computers that don't have speakers, and I'm just kind of oh yeah, I should probably double check this. I went to sleep early last night, and oh my god, no.
But oh my god, yes.
It's yeah, Sonic rolled down. Oh my god, there's a video. I can't hear it.
Oh.
I can't hear the video.
It's just so funny
that internet.
Opposite it is from when we followed the dojo, because the dojo, we were chomping at the bit for characters primarily. We're who is in this game?
Anything could happen. Suddenly Ike shows up, right? Yeah.
It's here's the whole roster. Sorry.
It's everybody.
I mean,
We got maybe like
a couple new characters. We'll get more characters in the future, but for now, it's just like, well, the surprise is over. Don't waste your sleep trying to watch the blog.
They're thinking of the children.
So for Wednesday, June 20th, it was today's fighter number 3, Link.
I am so excited for his changes.
Oh, I know. Let's get into it here. Link has been redesigned to match his appearance in The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. He can now pick up arrows he's fired, and his bombs have been upgraded to remote bombs, so you can set them off when the timing is just right. Let's not forget to mention that the Master Sword is bigger. Better range. That's huge.
Master Sword is bigger, and unfortunately, you cannot trigger bombs when someone's holding them. That was the biggest heartbreak.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
Me 3, and I was like, no, I wanted people to pick up my bombs. Just like set them off and knock them out.
Almost like the Snake C4s, yeah.
If someone picks up your bomb and they throw it, can you blow it up the moment they throw it?
I assume you can. No one's ever tested this specifically, but the only thing that was made clear was that if they're holding it, you can't trigger it.
Interesting. Maybe they'll change that.
If they're holding your bomb, I'm actually fine with it. It's like they have to hold the bomb and keep holding it in order to prevent me from doing anything with bombs.
Right.
Yeah.
Just like picking up Rob's gyro. You know, if you pick up Rob's gyro, you'll keep him from ever summoning one because that's a pain.
Right.
So, interestingly, he does seem to use the double bow.
Mm-hmm.
The one they...
only after you pick up another arrow.
Is it? Is that how it works?
Yeah, so he shoots one arrow normally, and you have to shoot an arrow to the ground, go over, pick it up, and then you get one double shot.
That makes sense. Okay.
Very odd. But
I hope the payoff is really good, though, because that seems like a lot of hassle just to get a double arrow shot.
Right.
Well, when you hit somebody off the ledge, and then you just immediately fire one arrow off, then pick it up, and then you start the edge guarding arrow.
Yeah. I'm sure people will make it work. It's just kind of annoying if there's an extra step, but whatever.
It is nice to see that he has some of his more classic tunics. The Tunic of the Wild looks very similar to the classic tunic in Hyrule Warriors.
Yeah.
So.
Well, if you watch, there's I can't remember if it's a game theory or what other video where they cover that. They think that Breath of the Wild is actually strongly linked to Zelda 1 or 2, or 1. I think it's 1.
I mean, thematically, it's based on 1, right? With that opening shot and kind of looking over the horizon. Yeah, they've kind of mentioned in the past it's thematically tied to 1 at least. I don't know about timeline and all that, but aside from those changes, not much seems to really be different from Link. I would have been happy to see his spin attack.
He seems largely the same. Spin attack looks the same. I mean, we're hoping for different hurt boxes and different ranges and things, and
that sword is going to make the biggest difference. Let's be honest though.
But when you look at back Young Link and Toon Link, a lot of people are on board with the idea that Young Link will have his old move set, and then with a new move set, so they can have more diversity there.
Challenger approaching.
Oh, brr, brr. Oh my gosh, Tony lives.
This computer's fucking stressing me out, dude.
Well, welcome, Tony TH. Welcome into the podcast.
You can finish an episode.
No, I'm still only half episode or however long it's been. Hey, the emergency room thing was fine. My girlfriend just cut her hand, and I had to go be be there.
Good. Yeah, no, totally understand. Yeah, no.
I don't know if you guys explained that.
We were kind of
went to the emergency room and was never heard of again.
we kind of mentioned it, but it's good that everything is okay. We're kind of wrapping up Link here. Anything that you had to say in particular with that?
I'm glad it's Breath of the Wild. I love the remote bombs. He's adorable.
Absolutely, that's a good point.
One of my favorite things about the trailer, though, is when Pichu's going for the bomb. Like the way they have the camera set up is that Link is literally looking at the camera like he's on The Office.
Yeah,
he gives that gym look.
The trailer again. He does give the gym look right before he blows up Pikachu. I don't understand why this is working, but we're just gonna roll with it. All right.
This stupid rat. Okay. All right.
Nintendo really likes their machinima. They like to play around with their stuff.
Yeah, Sakurai is a master at it. That's for sure. Then we'll wrap up with the Smash Blog updates with Thursday, June 21st. Today's fighter number 15, Ice Climbers. Back in the battle after a 10-year absence. There are 2 of them. So does that make them twice as strong as other fighters? Well,
Do they really have to make us feel that old every single time? Same thing with Wolf. Like 10 years ago, Snake was here 10 years ago. It's like, oh, jeez.
how were you 10 years ago?
So Ice Climbers are back, but they're not really back, at least according to E3.
There is no wobbling. That's a good
no
thing.
wobbling. There's a Smash 4 introduced the restriction on chain grabbing anyway for everybody, so that'll restrict what they can do. And from what I've read from various people is that there's not many opportunities for desyncing like there were in previous games. Hard to control them separately. A lot of what you do, you move them as a pair, like you would kind of just playing them casually.
Well, we'll see if that actually stays. That's one of the things. They tried to fix those things in both Melee, in Brawl specifically, and it only ended up making things worse.
Yeah, it really did.
So in the end, I don't really know if I can actually say there's not really opportunities to desync them yet.
I refuse to believe that Sakurai would leave them in a broken state like that, broken as in they can't desync or do anything they used to be able to do, and not do anything about Rosalina and Luma, because Rosalina and Luma can desync like crazy and do nutso stuff, and she's way overpowered, and it's like, come on, give Ice Climbers a chance, be nice.
Right?
I think it'll be really interesting when whether it's Nana or Popo gets smashed away, and we're seeing the punching the balloon theory of they get out there real quick. It kind of exposes this, whether it's Sopo or Solo Nana on the stage. Save her. It's gonna expose them pretty quickly, and it'll take a while to get back. I mean, depends on if they follow them out there, but if you can isolate a smash attack or isolate a hit, that could be an interesting strategy, especially with how quickly they move out there this time.
Yeah. A couple of things I took from their trailer. My favorite being when Popo knocks somebody away with a throw, after they throw them, he gets little stars in his eyes.
What does this mean?
I don't know why, but as soon as he hits them, he just gains these little stars in his eyes, and he gets so happy.
See, obviously, I think the best part is how concerned Nana gets. She gets so scared. She's all alone.
Yeah.
My favorite part of their animations, their new animations, is the fact that when you do a down throw with Popo, he puts his hammer down and he uses both his hands to lift you up and slam you down. It looks so funny, but it's a great change that he's just I'm gonna throw you.
I'm gonna get you. Also, during their Smile Smash, Popo jumps on the little bird thing. I can't forget what it's called.
A condor?
It's a pterodactyl. What is it? It's orange, whatever it is.
Whatever it is, he gets on it, but Nana is not programmed to get on it, so she just leaps around randomly while she gets oddly magnetically pulled to Popo.
That's usually what she does.
He hangs from it, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he hangs from it.
Yeah, he holds onto the feet or whatever.
Yeah, whereas the Nana character will just kind of leaps around. I could just see so many different. Yeah, I can just see so many instances, but then the casual player would now leap around and just die.
Okay. I don't have much to add about Ice Climbers, but my girlfriend, who's just got into games a couple years ago, was just asking me what series they were from, and I'm like, Ice Climbers.
It's from Ice Climber.
She's like, what games are they in? I'm like, Ice Climbers. That's it.
Give it a try sometime.
Ice Climbers and Smash Brothers. That's their entire existence.
They've had 3 games.
Have they had 3 games?
Yeah, Ice Climber, Melee, and Brawl.
Oh yeah, that's true.
That's right. I was gonna say they are one of those characters that they're probably more famous from Smash than their own game.
Oh yeah.
And then you just play that music nonstop around the house and drive them nuts.
It's just like that and Game & Watch are only being kept alive through Smash, really, when you think about it.
More
it's not they're advertising new content with Ice Climbers in it. It's just they're there and it's fun.
It's like when Melee introduced Marth and Roy. Those games didn't exist yet, and it was who the heck are these people? And now, I actually do know people now who play more Fire Emblem than they do anything else, and they're like, oh yeah, I love these characters, and I'm like, oh yeah, well they were in Smash before those games, so yeah.
I feel like it works a lot the other way, where it's just they buy the games from seeing them in Smash. I've gotten into so many Nintendo series because
that's right.
Yeah.
Guys,
conspiracy theory. Bandai Namco is working on Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Bandai Namco worked on Dragon Ball Fighters. They will put the Ice Climbers as a guest DLC character in Dragon Ball FighterZ for Iceberg Ball Z.
Iceberg Ball Z. Iceberg, rock the Iceberg Ball Z.
I was waiting for Goku in Smash Ultimate because
they trade
coming to Switch.
They trade that way too.
I thought Goku was like a serious possibility because I'm sure he got a bajillion votes, and I know he's not a game man, but like he's Goku.
Funimation endorsed
like Mickey Mouse over there. I saw that. Yeah,
Funimation was tweeting Nintendo and be like, "Hey, put Goku in, please."
Yeah.
If someone has a problem with that, I just want to be like, "But he's Goku. He fights people. That's what he does."
He wants to fight strong guys. Where can he find stronger guys?
Than Pichu.
Yeah. Goku will lose to Pichu.
Goku versus Pichu.
Oh my
the
God.
war of the century.
Everyone's been clamoring for that matchup.
So those were the Smash blog updates. Not too much to write home about this week, especially when you're thinking, I mean, so many of these are going to be, we're going to watch this trailer for this character again. Oh, okay. All right. I mean, it gives us a good opportunity to kind of delve into the character a little bit more, what we want to see, what we can hope for. But yeah, I just wish that the different pictures had different captions to go with them. That would give it a real dojo feel. Like some of those best moments of the dojo was like the funny caption here and there.
Flab is poking on his sides.
Yeah. Oh, poor Wario.
Oh, man, yeah.
All right, let's get to the mail time segment.
Here's the mail, it never fails. It makes me want to wag my tail. When it comes, I want to wail.
You can ask mail time questions via Twitter at Show Me Your News, on Facebook, Show Me Your News. Different ways that you can interact with the show and get your voice heard here, like Plumokin did. And he asked, what do you guys think the chances are of a successor to Subspace Emissary being in the game?
Well, my answer is 0% because too many characters. And 2, Sakurai specifically lamented the last Subspace Emissary, saying he didn't like how the cinematics were all leaked online and that the magic was kind of gone and it really wasn't worth the effort. And
see, I'm actually going to argue that. Because, yes, Sakurai did lament those things, but Sakurai lamented a lot of things in the past, and he's showing a lot of different attitude these days about a lot of different things, especially, considering that he did call Smash a fighting game now. So I will say that there actually is not a 0% chance. However, I do not think we're going to see something as extensive. One thing I do want to feel like about this is I'm going to use Hyrule Warriors as an example. Hyrule Warriors has a metric ton of characters that you can play. But in the Legend mode, which is the story mode, only not really a handful, but a good amount of characters are used, but not all of them. You really don't ever get to play as like Girahim or Sant or any of those characters. So in that regard, I think if they want to do kind of cool story mode, that they might actually focus the story instead of try to include everyone. Just maybe include 1 or 2 people as they would make sense in the story. So you'll go through and you'll get Link, but you might not get young Link.
I'm definitely on Buzz's side here. I think it's pretty low, slim to none. I think, especially now in the age of YouTube, even more so, and Twitch streaming. I mean, my God, you have to see Japanese developers of games putting restrictions on what you can stream from games for fear of spoilers.
Fucking talking about Persona 5 because I just replayed that 2 years ago.
Yep, that's the one that did it.
What, the Blaze Blue BB Tag, the cross tag battle game? Like, they're like, oh, you can't stream up to this point. It's like it's a fighting game. Like, okay, it's a very similar concept there.
I think the real question is, will Smash Tour return?
See,
that's a bit of much greater concern to me than whether Subspace Emissary will return.
See, I want the first player kind of combat, like not necessarily Smash Tour. Give me like because Smash Run without
Smash Run's amazing.
Smash Run is amazing. Without all the power up nonsense, the navigation, the enemies, all that, it felt a lot like the gameplay of Subspace Emissary.
Smash Run with Wi-Fi connectivity like the DS did.
Yeah,
that'd be so great. I love Smash Run. Like I can't believe I'm getting this excited over a single player mode because I rarely touch them. But that is what I miss the most from the 3DS version.
Yeah, it definitely
I'd rather-
needs to make a reappearance in the full title.
I'd rather have an adventure mode that's like expanded upon more. Like I feel like
I
a
think
whole story mode with that many characters would, and even if you like cut them in half, like Super suggested, I think it'd be like a really resource intense like thing. So I feel like an adventure mode would be a lot easier to do.
I really hope that Sakurai put telemetry and metrics into Smash 4 so he could see exactly how many people, how many times are picking what modes.
Yeah.
So he can be like, over the course of 2018, 7 people played Smash Tour. 2017, 4 people played Smash Tour. I don't know why the number went up, but
Even less picked Master and Crazy challenges.
oh my god.
I fucked with that. You had to do it to get like moves and custom moves and
Right.
stuff.
I just spammed
goodness.
the target test. I just spammed Ganondorf, like taped down the B. Just did all that nonsense. Oh man, good times. No, I think
That's probably a smart idea.
when we get the single player updates, I think that'll be a very exciting time. Especially when we consider, though, that if they're developing this game as a platform to be ported in the future, if they're thinking about adding DLC, it'll be tough to have a Subspace Emissary-like mode. But bring back Smash Run, bring refinements to that. I think that'd be the most exciting thing. And adventure mode, certainly.
Yeah.
It does bring back a lot of excitement
what-
for single player modes.
Yeah. The main gist I was trying to get at was something that was in between Subspace Emissary and Melee's adventure mode.
Like, don't get me wrong. Like, some of the best things we ever got came from Subspace Emissary, like the cinematics of Snake with Peach and Zelda and stuff, and like, that's all pure gold. But just development wise, I just don't see that they had time to put all that in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that should do it for this episode of SMYN Ultimate. Of course, find us on iTunes, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, all those podcast stuff. It's the same podcast feed as Show Me Your News Classic. So resubscribe, refresh those feeds, whatever you need to do, on YouTube at Show Me Your News, and Show Me Your News on Twitter, Facebook, all that good stuff. Loved hearing the feedback for our first episode. Really glad that it's back in your lives and it's making you feel like a kid again. It's good to talk about this kind of stuff again. Really, really happy to do it. Buzz, anything you'd like to plug? Thank you again for your time. It's good to have you on, and we're really looking forward to bringing in different people from the podcast past and all that to kind of hear their takes on this game.
Definitely. It's been a real pleasure to be back on. Like I said, I'm working on Obvious Piranha. Follow at Obvious Piranha on Twitter. That's where I'll be putting any updates on the projects I'm working on and that Sugar's working on.
Absolutely. We're sending our best to the both of you and your kids as well. Even Link the dog.
Yay, Link the dog. We lost his Husky of Time tag. We're very sad.
Oh no.
Oh, that sucks.
So we had to we're making a new one. He has a Hylian Shield tag, which is a little different.
Oh boy. Well, again, thanks for joining us on behalf of Buzz, for Super, and Tony. I am Yoko. Until next time, we'll see ya. We're out. Show me your news.